Oh God. Oh God. I don't have time. I've got to go buy more toilet paper. Listen to the podcast. It's brought to you by Audible. Get an audiobook while you still can. Oh my God. Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to Jumbled, your favorite podcast about nothing. I'm Zach. That was the third time I had to do that intro.
I must be a snowflake because I've fallen for you.
Could you please, it's a late New Year's resolution to just every week come with a new
Zach, I don't
pickup
know if
line.
you've noticed a trend, but that has been the go-to as of recently.
I have noticed.
I maybe have a list that I've been working on.
I don't doubt it at all.
I'm Jonny. You know who I am.
Oh, sure as hell know who you are.
But I am a beautiful snowflake.
Boy, are you.
In my own way.
Boy, are you. You know what
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm tired of, dude?
What are you tired about? What's really grinding your gears, Zach?
Fucking everything. Mostly
mostly
coronavirus.
You know, I was hoping we would get into this.
It's
I
pissing
would
me
like
off.
to applaud your president's strategy of
Don't.
praying away the coronavirus,
The
administering
good Lord.
faulty tests, and fudging the numbers to make America great again.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you know, his new motto for the upcoming presidential election is keep America great or something like that. So apparently that's you know what? He did it. He made it great again, and now he's got to keep it great. That
what
apparently
has really changed in your country in the last 4 years?
We're
other than
we're
the
more
public's
divided.
perception.
We're more divided.
Do you think you're more divided? Are you more divided?
Yeah, it feels like every day we get further and further away from relating to one another.
I mean, granted, it's been a while since I've lived in the States.
Right.
But y'all seemed pretty fucking divided when I was there, and that was over 10 years ago now.
Yeah.
Fuck, we are old.
I know, dude. Yeah, we were divided then, and it hasn't gotten any better. Mm-hmm. And I don't foresee a way that it is okay for the next 4 years.
How do you feel about the subdivision now of the left? And that there's this I know you hate talking about politics, but I'm generally intrigued. That there's this growing divide, even within the Democratic Party, of old Democrats and like the new wave younger generation. And I feel, and we've talked about this before, so we don't have to get into it too much, but I do feel like y'all are stuck with another 4 years of Trump because the left can't manage to band together and, you know, accept that a candidate might not be 100% what you want.
Right.
But
you're going to back them and you're going to put your weight behind it.
Is probably better than the alternative? Question?
Sure. I don't know. My whole viewpoint, and I'm sure people can probably tell if I haven't talked about it before, I lean more towards the left.
The middle.
I'm like middle left, you know?
Yeah.
But I don't know, like I don't know. It just doesn't feel good. It feels like you're choosing between, you know, a shit stew and a shit sandwich. You know, it's like they're both shit. You know,
this is how do you want to eat it?
Yeah, exactly. So I've said it before. I feel like the right and like the far right and the far left have a lot more in common than they have different. You know, it's extremism. You know, and it's the further we get away from each other, the further we get towards each other, just not in the way we want, you know?
I'm going to butcher this. I don't remember who said it, and I don't remember the exact number, but it was essentially that the left and right agree on about 80% of topics, but they choose to fight about the 20% instead of, making the world better on that 80.
Sure.
And that's unfortunate. And now
It
it's
is.
even getting, the subdividing of the left and right. And
Yeah.
I did hear that apparently Trump, who is denying coronavirus,
Yeah. It's not a thing. It's not happening.
has had direct contact with
Mhm.
someone who has tested positive.
Oh, please,
So,
God.
Not that I would ever wish or hope for anyone to suffer or
I just want him to
die.
get sick. I just want him to get like deathly ill. I want him to have to like continue to do a president's job when he's like on like knocking on death's door, but then he pulls through.
Would
I
that
want
be
him.
ironic? Like how? Like, just imagine if that's what kills him.
Coronavirus takes him. It's not
We
real.
would never know. They would never admit that. I don't think they would ever admit that. It'd be ongoing health concerns.
Sure. Well, I think everybody would speculate because he's been really short of breath up there at the podium, and he's been sweating and coughing a lot.
He has been looking extra orange recently,
and he's been doing extra face touching. So,
did you see that one picture that the White House released? And it's him kind of looking into the wind, and his hair's blowing back, so you can see his forehead line and his eye lines. And then people were losing their shit, so they took it down.
Yeah,
but didn't want to take too much flack for taking it down, so they put it back up in black and white, and it was even more drastic.
I applaud whoever did that initially, because they looked at the picture and they're like, maybe we shouldn't.
I don't
and
know,
then
man.
And then somebody was like, fuck it, man. Like, what's gonna happen?
I think people are so brainwashed that they don't even notice those flaws and are just like, that's our president. Yeah. That's my
pretty
American accent. Was that good?
That was really good, dude. He apparently Trump went to the CDC today, so now that entire place is they're gonna have to sterilize it somehow. But he was looking. There was an article now, granted, very biased article from CNN, just mentioning quotes, and I'm not gonna read them in context. I'm not gonna read the opinions on the quotes. God, where was it? Hold on. I saw it earlier on my phone. I'm going to figure it out. But one of them, he was talking about the tests that they have there. And he referred to them as, they have beautiful tests. They're beautiful. And it's like,
beautiful tests.
Yeah.
That have been proven to not function.
Well, and he didn't know apparently that people die from the flu. If we're taking this at face value, God, I really need to find it.
And on this episode of Jumbled Goes Political,
dude,
Zach plots how to kill the president.
I will never, ever say that. First of all,
just kidding, CIA. Don't hurt me.
That'll never happen. I will never do that. You know what? Regardless how you feel about the president, there's nothing good that can happen from you jumping over the fence on Pennsylvania Avenue and running towards the White House. They have snipers everywhere. You're not going to make it anywhere close.
What do you think would happen in the U.S. if a president was assassinated? And I say this not necessarily referring specifically to Trump, but I always thought about it too. Of when Obama first got elected, everyone was like, "Oh, if this is going to be the next assassinated president." And
yeah, it's a shitty thing to say.
I know, and almost like as if people were saying it in a way of like they would be happy about it. And I always think back of the glory days of America where. Yeah, maybe your guy didn't win, but at the end of the day,
you supported him.
That was your president, and you want him to succeed because if he succeeds, it's probably going to benefit you in some way, shape, or form.
Sure.
Right? And now it's just so polarizing than the opposite, but...
Yeah, and the thing is, like, we've gotten to this point where there's not anybody who can really just rein it back in, who can relate to both sides, because nobody's willing to vote for, somebody who just says, whatever, dude, you like your guns, you like your fucking...
Yeah. Fuck who you want.
Yeah.
Smoke what you want.
Yeah.
Use your guns safely and respectfully.
Right. But nobody can relate to both sides, so they pick extreme people to get everything that they agree with.
I don't think that it's nobody can relate to both sides.
They just don't want to they don't want to give in to the sides they don't.
It'd be really interesting to do a study on the political alignment of voters, and I think that there's very few pragmatic middle voters for that reason, because the candidates on either side are so far to either side.
Right.
So then it's a game of how do I rally the nutballs on either side who will get out and vote, where the pragmatic people in the middle are like, fuck, can't you just be reasonable, and I'm not going to vote if you're not reasonable. And then the crazies get to run the world. We just solved the problem, Zach. The goddamn crazies. That's why you need to exercise your right to vote. Even if your candidate isn't gonna win. Voting is not about winning. Yeah. It's about supporting an ideology or policies that you believe best represent you.
Yes. And you have a voice, and that's something that a lot of nations, even today around the world, don't get a say in, like it is something to be taken seriously, and I definitely take it serious. By the way, headline of this article, it's not the same one that I was looking at earlier, but it's funny nonetheless. Trump said he didn't know people died of the flu. His grandfather did, according to a Trump biographer. His grandfather died of the flu, but Trump didn't know that people died of the flu.
And he had a book written about himself that talks about that, and he clearly was like, what?
Yeah.
What? I mean, I think we can all agree that he's not the best at history or modern facts.
I think that's the understatement of the year. He was going like toe to toe with scientists, and they were like, what was it? Somebody was like, we don't know how to fight this thing. And Trump said, well, couldn't you just, do like a flu vaccination? And they're like, it's not the flu. And he's like, oh, you don't think that would have any kind of effect on it? I think it would have effect on it. He's like, no, it wouldn't. That's not how science works, Trump. And that's the thing that's unfortunate, because now you've got the leader of a nation spouting off scientific fact that is not fact, and all of his followers are so brainwashed
that it doesn't matter what he says.
They just eat it. They just gobble it up, and they don't like. I am like left and right. I'm like the Facebook Batman right now, dude. Like, I'm just fact checking motherfuckers left and right. Like, just so many. Like, I'm like, okay, you said this bullshit. You said this complete bullshit. I'm gonna do a 5-second Google search, and I'm gonna disprove everything you just posted, and then I'm gonna let you know in a comment, because I am Facebook Batman. I am the hero that Facebook needs, and the one that it deserves, because Facebook is a cesspool.
It really is. I have thought about it numerous occasions to get rid of it, but there's just some good. Sometimes I like the drama,
Yeah, it's like a soap opera almost.
I'm always Allie laughs, and I know we've talked about it before, but the corgi group for our area.
Yeah.
I love stirring the fucking pot in there. Fucking love it. Because corgi people are batshit crazy.
Yeah.
And there's just always someone saying something just asinine. And I fucking love it. And then I'll make a comment. Just a little comment. Just a little, like,
little jab.
From the back row. Just a little, hey. And then Allie will see it and just be like, God damn it, John, why are you fucking with
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. So it'd be hard to give up those things, but I do see a lot of posts where I'm just like, come on, take a second to just look it up. Have your own opinion. Don't just automatically share. That was the worst thing that Facebook ever did, was make that instant share.
Yeah.
That's true. Add this to my page.
That's true. There was even my own mom, I'm fact checking my own mom, so it's like,
I have to fact check my dad all the time too.
So it's like,
he's just new to Facebook. He's old and just doesn't understand it.
Sure.
And will often post things that contradict themselves. Because he is fairly centric, but I think he fancies himself more conservative.
Sure.
And sometimes he posts shit and I'm just like, oh god damn it, Dad. Like,
yeah. Like my mom just took this picture at face value, and it was, regardless of what you feel on the topic, because it is a touchy topic, but I'm just gonna factually say what it was. So it was a picture of what was supposed to be a fetus, right? This little 12-week, like, this is what you look like at 12 weeks in the womb. And quick fact check determined that, number one, the picture wasn't of an actual fetus, so I don't know if that's what they were going for. The size was roughly
rendering.
Exactly.
Whatever.
The size was roughly correct, but there were super defined facial features, and the skin was not translucent. And at 12 weeks gestation, they have translucent skin and not really well-defined facial features. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to tug on the heartstrings of all these people and try to say, hey, you're pretty much all the way developed at 12 weeks. You just got to grow. And regardless of how you feel about it, I mean, 12 weeks is 3 months in. I feel like that's too late, personally. At the if it didn't happen within the first however long.
Yeah, that's fair.
3 months in that's pretty crazy, but still, there's this trend on Facebook where people just they make up shit in order to push their own agenda. They share it, and then all their little followers or friends or whatever share the shit too, because it's just pandering, right? And it's just trying to push their own agenda. So I'm out here trying to tell people, hey, it's okay to have a feeling, right? You can feel a certain way about a topic, but let's at least be factual about it.
My issue with, at least in the States, the argument between pro-life and pro-choice is that the right isn't pro-life, they're pro-birth. And that's where I get frustrated. I think in general, nobody wants a baby in any form, condition, stage to be terminated. But you can easily address that by, 1, having proper support systems, 2, providing free contraception, and not slut shaming girls who want to go on birth control.
Right.
3, mandatory vasectomies. 4, when that baby is born, give that mother every chance possible to provide it a good life, or for them to see, hey, this is going to be hard, but I can do it. I'm going to get these supports. I'm going to get a basic income so I can go to school and sustain this baby by myself. Yeah. And that's not the case. It's, you have to be born, and then, hey, little nugget, you're on your own. Fuck you. We ain't helping you. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
Yeah, and now you have all these overcrowded foster programs where people gave birth to this child, but they can't take care of the child. They can't afford to take care of the child.
But no one gives a shit about that, right? I'm not paying for your welfare.
No.
You should have done this better. And it's well, actually, being pregnant makes it really difficult for me to work or finish school. So now I'm stuck in this system. And all I'm asking for is a little bit of help so that I can get out of the system and then contribute back
right
into the system that kept me going.
and here's the thing, everybody benefits, right? Because you create a person who has I'm sure I can't speak honestly, I mean, I obviously can't speak on behalf of anybody who's gone through this, but you have to assume that there's a lot of mental anguish that comes from having to go through that whole situation, and that probably doesn't lead to a very productive worker or
it's a tough,
you know
it's a tough spot, and it's a shitty spot. But like ultimately, I believe that choice is there, and if you say you're pro-life, then you should be doing everything in your power and supporting every bill to make sure that a woman who doesn't want to get pregnant has all the tools easily accessible to not get pregnant
in the first place.
In the first place, and then B, if it happens, they have all of the tools possible to get them through that pregnancy in a healthy and secure way, and then when that baby's born, that they are supported to the point where they can be self-sufficient and then move on. But they can't do that. Is the coronavirus, I know we're kind of going around in circles here, is the coronavirus the panic setting in where you are?
So I have a funny story about this, actually.
Oh, yes.
So, well, number one, the U.S. in general right now is just in full pandemonium. The Dow just dropped 2,000 points today or whatever. Stock market's all fucked up right now because everybody's all terrified of this shit. But at work today, so there have been a lot of like talks, like emails from like higher ups at the company that are like, hey, we have all of these options if you need to work from home, if coronavirus ends up getting you, if you end up getting sick and you're stuck, we have all these means for you to work from home and whatnot. They've started setting out like Lysol wipes in every conference room to wipe all the shit down after meetings. We're in like full panic mode. Like the company is just left and right. Like, here's a disaster recovery plan. Here's a fucking, or a policy. Here's here's more training on how to connect to a VPN network. Here's like all this stuff. Today somebody got sick in the office, like physically ill, like threw up in the office. I think I probably just had a stomach bug. Obviously, throwing up, nauseousness, not a sign of the coronavirus, right? It's not a symptom. But everybody's in full panic mode, so everybody just forgets about symptoms, right? So managers and partners are just left and right running in, like they're gonna jump on top of whatever the sickness is in that area.
Coronavirus grenade,
yeah, exactly. They're gonna cover themselves with the grenade to take all the hit or whatever, and they're just wiping left and just Lysol wipes everywhere, and they're just wiping and cleaning. Like the person's already gone, so they let the person leave or whatever, and then just came through and like completely tried to sanitize the area. But it's just like there's this full panic that people are in right now. It started with, when they're like, oh, people are taking things out of context. So the whole beard thing, the image they shared, that infographic was like, I think developed in like 2017 or something like that. And it is to show proper like facial hair to be able to wear a respirator, or so, like if you're contagious, like this is that's the proper, this is the facial hair to be able to wear a respirator. Correct. Because you got to be able to create that seal. But people are taking things out of context. So people are buying masks without needing the mask, because the mask
thing drives me fucking nuts.
Because the masks are only supposed to be used by those who have been confirmed to have a virus
to help stop the spread.
Correct. Not the people who don't have it to not get it, because guess what? You're still rubbing your face and shit with your hands, and your mask isn't going to do anything. It's not. It can be transmitted in any way you want. I mean, it's human to human, right? So through the air, through touch, pick it up. It's a virus. So anyway,
Yeah, we've been having issues in Canada where for whatever reason the panicked population is obsessed on stockpiling bottled water and toilet paper.
Oh, that's happening here too. I saw a meme earlier about it.
Like one, at least in Canada, I can't speak to the US, but the
Right.
government's been very clear that you will have running water. Don't worry.
Yeah.
So bottled and like our water is great up here. Like you don't really need to drink bottled water.
Right.
We're not like Michigan, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then two,
Sorry to laugh.
Do you-
Flint. That's
do you like people going to Costco and buying hundreds of rolls of toilet paper?
Are you gonna be shitting that much?
Like, what do you think is going to happen? You're going to get coronavirus, get quarantined for 2 weeks, and you're going to shit 50 times a day? That's what a shower's for.
Number one, I mean that's not a calling card of coronavirus, right? Coronavirus.
No.
That's not. I don't know what.
Drives me fucking bonkers.
Like-
And like buying out all of the masks and hand sanitizer. I was in the grocery store
Dude.
the other day, and Allie was like, "Hey, you should pick up some hand sanitizer just for like our front door for when people, you know, come or leave."
Yeah.
I was like, "We have soap," but I was like, "Okay, like I'll grab a bottle. It's not a big deal, whatever."
Right.
And I'm on the phone in the grocery store, and there's a guy behind me, literally just scooping hand sanitizer, like probably 6 or 7 bottles,
Oh
like
my
almost
God.
all of the bottles of the cheap hand sanitizer. And I was like, "Are you gonna drink that? Like, what is happening? Like, you know, you can use soap, like any
Yeah.
soap. You could use shampoo
Yeah.
and kill that virus."
Yeah.
But you like, what are you gonna do with all that hand sanitizer?
You just need a detergent. You need a detergent and a degreaser, and really, it's gonna wash down the drain, and you'll be fine.
It's like, I'll fucking clean my hands with gasoline. I don't give a shit.
Right? I don't see that's the thing, and I don't support the idea that we need to utilize hand sanitizer often, right? It's only in like rare circumstances that you would need to use hand sanitizer. And that's like if I'm like, for me personally, I work with computers, and so if I walk over to somebody's cube and they're sniffling and you know I have to use their keyboard or something, if there's a hand sanitizer right next to them, I might just go ahead and take a pump and
Take a pump.
Yep, and then that way I don't catch whatever kind of goop they've been rubbing all over their
Yeah,
keyboard.
that's fair, right? If you're around someone that is kind of like, you look a little off,
Yeah,
or sound a little off, then yeah, like,
and
hand sanitize yourself, or go to the bathroom and wash your hands, right?
yeah. I mean, I could have. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, if I'm right there, and there's hand sanitizer, and they're like, "Hey, do you want a squirt or something?" I'll be like, "Okay, I guess, just a little
Yeah,
bit."
sure, whatever.
But-
Like if I'm a public place and I'm touching
Yeah,
door handles in the mall or whatever, and I see one, I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll take a squirt. Like, not a big deal.
yeah,
Plus, my office is in a building that is full of doctors' offices, so there's a lot
Mhm.
of sick people coming and going.
yeah.
So I'm pretty diligent, but at home, I'm
No.
not using it. I like wash my hands.
We don't have hand sanitizer in our house.
Yeah, I don't know, man. People are crazy, and I get the like. You should have a bit of food saved up in general.
Sure. Dry
have some
goods,
dry
yeah.
goods.
Yeah,
But people are going fucking bonkers.
yeah,
It's like you are preparing to live underground for a year.
yeah. Where's the bunker?
Yeah. Yeah. Like skip the dishes is probably still going to run. So
Yeah,
just tell them to leave it on the doorstep so you
Yeah.
don't touch them. Good to go. I guess you guys don't have Skip.
what is Skip?
Like a food delivery system.
We have like
Uber
DoorDash.
Eats or DoorDash. Yeah.
Yeah.
Skip is a
Okay.
Canadian company.
Gotcha. Yeah. And they've been doing something similar for like when I heard this like a week and a half ago in China, where like food delivery services and whatnot, they've been taking the temperature of the person who prepared their food, as well as the temperature of the person who delivered the food. It's put on the receipt. They meet in a public location. They set the food down like on a table or something, then they back away, then the other person comes up and takes the food. So there's no like direct person to person
fucking
contact.
Process. God damn.
Yeah, it's pretty
That
nuts.
seems unnecessary. Like,
well, it's China.
Your hands are touching this bag, and now I'm gonna touch this bag. So like, does that really matter if I'm
I'm
touching
not sure.
the bag at the same time as you? I don't know.
I'm not sure if it might have been gloved hands. I can't recall, but yeah, I don't know. It's just stupid and it's unnecessary. And I keep going, like thinking back to like, oh, remember how crazy the swine flu was, and remember how crazy the bird flu was, and like,
I mean, I did get H1N1.
I did too, and I got it, and it wasn't great, but guess what? Survived it, right? And sure, there's a subset of people that will die from any virus, right? Especially viruses that we haven't been that are
We're
new.
not used to.
Yeah. So, but it's going to be the same kind of people. It's going to be the young and it's going to be the old. And then everybody else in the middle is just going to have a shitty virus for however long it's going to be. There's no need to completely buy up all the supplies and fucking go crazy and send the stock market into a spiral. And like, there's no need to stop all this shit, like travel and like all this other stuff. If people are going to get sick, they're going to get sick. Hey guys, let's get right to it because the coronavirus is coming for all of us and we don't have time. So I want to get this out before I die. The audiobook that we are going to cover this month, for the month of March, is Wanderlust USA by Flula Borg. In this zany, eye-opening, and delightful 6-part audio series, Flula travels the breadth of the United States in search of its coveted and weirdest pastimes to learn more about the country and to better understand what drives people to these cultural events. His adventures include experiencing the famed Iditarod dog sledding race in Alaska, partying up during the U.S. Open of surfing in California, donning Elvis studs for Elvis Week in Mississippi, and portraying a Minuteman at Lexington's famous Revolutionary War reenactment. Flula Borg, if you guys don't know, Flula Borg has been on Conan several times. He's a YouTube personality. He's German-born, but he's a big fan of America and all things American, and he's a funny dude. So if this is something that sounds interesting to you, go ahead and go pick that up. If something else would tickle your fancy a little bit better, hey, Audible has about 180,000 other titles that you can choose from. So you're guaranteed, and that is a jumbled promise to find something out there, especially in the erotica section, all you perverts, that you can listen to and enjoy. Let us know what you're listening to. Thank you, Audible. And thank you guys for supporting Audible and for also supporting the podcast. And speaking of the podcast, I think there's more of it coming, right?
I mean, the travel is a legit, like, I'm coming to Iowa next week, and there were thoughts of like, well, is Trump going to put a travel ban for Canadians because now we have proven cases?
Well, we got cases in the U.S. too, but he won't admit that, right?
Well, there's that too, but you don't want more.
Yeah, there have been 30 something states that have had confirmed cases at this point. So it's like
Canada had its first death today.
Really? First one?
Yep. But I could be mistaken, but I think she was like an 80-year-old. It was an 80-year-old person.
So you guys are doing fine. We have like, I don't even know what the toll is for
1
deaths.
million.
And 1 million people in America. We're just decimated, dude. My friend across
1 million is not even 1/3% for you guys, so I think you're fine.
Losing 1 million people would be pretty nuts, but you're right. I don't know, man. I want to switch it up completely though, because I feel like 30 minutes of politics and coronavirus is nuts. Okay, let's go.
I have a confession.
Okay.
I am going to get an Xbox.
Jonny! What are you getting an Xbox for, dude?
Well, I'm going to get the new Xbox when it comes out.
Uh-huh.
And so I had this funny conversation with Al.
Joe's going to have a very specific request of you this coming holiday season, right?
What's that?
The new Halo.
That isn't why I'm getting it.
That's why you're getting it?
It is.
Okay.
Although Allie and I wasn't a PlayStation guy, and then I got really into Xbox, and then I got into PlayStation. I had both for a while,
Right.
Off and on, and I have stopped really playing video games. So Allie and I are planning our basement reno and doing like our theater room and all this shit. And I was like, well, we should get like the new gaming system when it comes out. And she looks at me and was like, why? And I was like, because I've always gotten the new gaming system.
Right.
Is that acceptable? She's like, you don't play video games, John. You don't really like to play video games. Like, why do you want this? And I was originally talking about the PlayStation. And I was like, well, Last of Us 2 is going to come out. And then Allie, quick as a whip, it said, it's coming out in May, John. You can play it on PS4 and not buy a new system just to play it and look nice.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, that's fair. And then another buddy of mine, he texted me about both new systems, and he was like, well, what are you gonna get? I was like, I don't know, man. I don't think anything. Like, I don't really play games. I don't really have a desire to buy games. I don't want to deal with it. And he told me about Xbox, what is it, the like Netflix for games, basically.
Oh yeah, I think I've heard of it. I don't know exactly what it's called. Yeah.
So he started telling me about that. And at first I was like, okay, like, you know, $15 a month or whatever. You play one game a month. It's not that big of a deal. And he was like, no, John, you can download as many games as your hard drive will let you on that subscription.
Yeah.
So then I was thinking, Allie loves Halo. And when we first started dating, we played a lot of Halo together. And she's always been like, oh, I kind of miss Halo. And Call of Duty's okay, but it's not really her jam.
Right.
And I was like, well, there's a new Gears coming out, and I do love Gears. The only PlayStation title exclusive that I care about is Last for Us. And I could play that this May on PS4. And then get the new Xbox, get this Play thing, and then I'll have Halo and Gears. In our new theater room.
Dude. That's exciting.
Shaping up. We're getting the band back together, baby.
I might have to pick the controller back up too. My Xbox has just been sitting in a turned off state for a while.
That's the thing. I went through a little bit of a spree with Wildlands, where I love Wildlands. It's a brilliant game, and I have not played the newest version. I've heard mixed things on it, but I don't really have. If I have the time, it's not a priority. But could make the case to get some Oxley time in to, you know, play some Halo here and there on a weekend or so.
That's true.
You know, and I know I went through my little phase with WoW again, and you know, I still get the itch, but I really don't want to invest the time. And I've been playing League of Legends for forever. But even now, like, Allie and I play maybe once every 2 weeks, a couple times a month. And it's just not really a thing that I want to do a whole lot.
Sure.
So I think, you know, casual gaming.
Yeah.
You know, occasionally we can pick it up. And I like sports games. And that is probably the biggest push for me, is I love playing sports games with friends. And if I'm going to play video games, it's social. Like, I have friends playing. So, which I can do all of that with the new Xbox, plus get bonus time with you and Joey.
That's true. And now you've forced me, right? Now I have to make that call, because it was just going to be Joe, right? And then Joe was going to have to twist my arm. But now that
both of us.
Now that it's you and Joe,
can you turn us both down?
I don't think I can.
Here's the thing. I traded in my Xbox 360 in all of my games when PS4 came out. And I got PS4 the day that it was released. And I have the exact same PS4. And depending on what they price the new Xbox at, which I know they are going to try not to price themselves out of the market like they did with Xbox One and PS4. I think I can do the same thing. I'll just take all of my shit that I've been collecting for PS4 for the last, I don't know, 8 years. When did it come out? And
yeah,
I'll I'll take everything down to EB Games and say, yo, give me the new Xbox, and I'll pay the difference, and I'm good to go.
There you go.
But the downside to this plan is, if I go the digital route, in 10 years, when they release, Xbox 720 or whatever fucking they decide to call it, because they can't count sequentially,
right?
I won't have any hard copy games, which does make me a little sad, but I might not give a shit also.
Yeah. I mean, I still have Xbox 360 games. I honestly just need to turn shit in. Like, I've got Xbox 360 games. I've got my Xbox 360 that I was just using for streaming. Obviously, I still have my...
I don't think you'll get much for a 360 now, right? Especially with Xbox One.
I don't think I would. I think I would probably just...
You're probably stuck with that one?
Yeah, I'd probably just figure out a way to use it as like a... I don't know, conversation piece or something.
A Netflix box, like, no big deal.
Sure. Just start collecting. I could just start collecting game consoles too.
That's true. You could get into that. Or you can build a Raspberry Pi and have emulator for pretty much just about everything. Up to,
That's true.
N64, PlayStation 2.
That's true. Yeah.
So I thought you'd be excited about that breaking news, hot off the press.
Hot off the press. I am. I'm very excited about that. That's
Though, I am real excited for Last of Us 2, and there's a rumor that HBO is making a TV show out of it.
Really?
Which will just make me super happy.
Well, now that they wrapped Game of Thrones, they gotta...
And it's going to be Jaime Lannister from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, they gotta toss something in that spot. So
they sure do. I started watching Silicon Valley during my morning workouts.
Mm-hmm.
It's a pretty good show.
I've never watched it.
Oh, really? As a tech guy, I think you might enjoy it. I appreciate it. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, I've heard it's really good. I just never watched it.
There's a couple moments where I, laugh audibly out loud. It's a nice thing to have in the background because it's not super intense. I don't really have to pay attention to it.
Right. It's filler.
When I'm working out, I can kind of follow along and do my thing, and quick episodes. It's easy. So
yeah.
What was your funny story, or did you share your funny story? You said you had something for the podcast, but it was a couple days ago.
I do. I have not shared it yet. So,
hold on. Let me crack this bad boy open and go along for this ride.
All right.
Oh yeah. Give me that sweet, sweet soda water.
Yeah. So in typical jumbled fashion, there's got to be some sort of mention of sex in this podcast somewhere.
Oh no.
This is not like sex related to myself. No, I'm not. But what I am getting ready to tell is that so I'm on Snapchat. It doesn't matter what my name is on Snapchat because I don't use it that often. But I had a friend.
Megadick 3000 for those of you who are interested.
There you go, Megadick 3000. Had a buddy who.
He's like, where this is going.
He's like, hey, you're a tech guy, right? And I said, yeah, I am. What's up? And he's like, so I've got this external hard drive, and I password protected this thing a few years ago, and I can't remember the password, and I'm trying to get into it. And I'm like, well, how did you apply the password? Asking all these different questions. And cut to the chase, the guy's like, yeah, so added benefit of, figuring out this whole external hard drive situation for me is that my girl's amateur stuff is on the hard drive. You can just have a look. And I'm like, okay, so apparently I'm becoming an encryption expert now because I'm hell bent on just figuring out what the hell all this stuff is on the hard drive.
This guy wants to pay you to hack into his external hard drive, and plans on paying you.
Well, I don't know if he's gonna pay me. He's
videos of his girlfriend. His current girlfriend or ex-girlfriend?
Current.
Sounds like this man might be fishing for a strong bull to come into the mix.
Might be. I shared this info with my wife, by the way, just so there's no thoughts that like, oh, Zach's some skeevy dude who's doing this all like under the guise of whatever.
Hey man, everyone looks at porn. Go with the flow.
Yeah, no, I told my wife about it, and she was like, all right, cool, let's see if
Let's
we
watch this shit.
Yeah.
Figure it out, Zach.
figure it out. So apparently, you ever see like those TV shows where somebody's like, sweating bullets and trying to figure out how to hack into this thing?
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna be me.
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind sending me a copy.
I will not distribute the contents of the hard drive just in case the certain individual who I am speaking of hears
is listening
this.
to the podcast. That's fair. Sorry,
I will
friend.
not.
I won't pressure
not-
Zach into seeing your girlfriend.
All I'm saying is I might show it to my wife because she lives under this roof, but it will not go anywhere else.
Got to spice things up.
And that's a promise.
But if you're listening and you are looking for a bull, right into the podcast so we can talk about this.
There's a Canadian one.
No, I'm a happily married man. I'm a tamed beast.
You're a tamed beast at this point?
I'm a fat house cat now.
Jonny the fat house cat, dude.
Living the best life. You know what I've really appreciated?
What's
our
up?
friend Wally, who always gave me shit when I started settling down in my old age.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, you've just given up. You used to be so wild, so free. And he started calling me a tamed house cat. He's like, now you like, when Allie first moved in, he's like, oh, what are you doing? This isn't you. You don't want this. And then we get married and he's just like, oh my God, John, what happened to you? And now, fast forward, Walls is married.
Sure, yeah.
Is 100% a tamed house cat.
Yeah.
Popping out a baby.
Yeah.
And I just, every once in a while I remind them, be like, oh, remember when you said that you would never be tamed? No one could conquer you. No one could get you to give it up. I was like, I told you, man. That person's out there.
Yep.
You'll find them, and they'll change you. And it's a good thing. He's like, fuck you, I'm not getting old. I was like, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
You're getting old.
It's power.
You're married.
You know
you
what?
have a house.
You know what that is?
The power of love.
It's the power of the pussy, or
pussy
the
power.
or the power of the penis, depending on what you like.
That's fair.
Right?
That is very fair.
Or
it does work both ways.
Yeah, it does work both ways. So.
But I appreciate my tamed house cat life.
Yeah.
It's a good life.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely. I agree. Not divulging too much information, but yeah. There's some room to be adventurous while being a tamed cat as well.
Exactly. You got so many things to explore.
Yeah. Yep.
Like watching your friend bone his girlfriend on amateur porn.
Sure, or watching some dude bone your friend's girl and he's in the corner. I don't know what's on there. I don't know what's on the thing.
What if all the videos are just him beating off?
And I send it back and I'm
You're
like,
just going through
fuck.
40 gigs. Just like
just some dude jerking off.
Fuck.
Well, I gotta watch it to completion too, because I'm like, well, maybe it'll get good. Maybe.
Hey man, once the train's going, you can't stop. You got to know where that story ends. I love a good storyline in erotic films.
You gotta see where you get. There's a story arc to every video.
Like
right?
you can't fast forward from the doorbell ringing to like straight anal. Like I need to know how they got there.
Dude, I think you've said that you're not like that, but I'm definitely like that. I don't know what it is. I'm like, oh, okay, so yeah, this is how this all unfolds. My thought process would be, there might be something different that happens. If I fast forward, I might miss something or whatever. So yeah, 40 gigs of just somebody beating off. I'd be
slow jerk.
Slow too, just crank.
Just hours and hours of laying pipe.
Just Rosie Palm and her 5 friends, right?
Oh, baby. Zach, I look forward to hearing about your success rate. I do have some hard drives that won't turn on. I got to figure that shit out because, one, there's like 300 movies on one that I really want to get at.
What kind of movies?
These ones are actually Hollywood movies. But on a different hard drive, there's maybe a collection that is now antique, but at one point was a finely manicured collection.
Of downloaded porn videos?
Of downloaded that I got from a mutual friend of ours.
Do you remember when it was like, when you would download shit because streaming it took too long?
Mm-hmm.
Right? You would just download some shit and save it for a rainy day.
I did inherit about 35 gigs of porn at one point in university. And I took the time to categorize it.
Oh my god. You categorized it, dude. Oh man.
Hey man, when you can't sleep, you find something to occupy the mind. Watching copious amounts of porn and then putting in a pristine file folder system.
So you had categories, then you had actors or actresses, right?
Oh yeah. You have to have actors and actresses, right? I mean, you have to support your favorite artist in any media form, you know?
Sure.
Don't art shame just because they're naked.
Yeah. You embed the videos in a PowerPoint presentation, you save it so that your parents don't.
Exactly. It's all in a very long line of homework folders.
Yeah.
As I've shared.
Dude. Yes. Oh,
good times. You know,
So
someone someday is going to find that hard drive in a garbage and they're like, hey, this looks okay. And they're going to figure it out and be like, oh my God.
So does the hard drive, is it just like a loose hard drive that used to be in a computer?
No, it's an external.
And it just doesn't work?
Yeah, like the light turns on, but it doesn't get, like, the computer doesn't read it. I don't know. I haven't fucked with them for a while. I need to like bust them out.
Yeah, because if it's an old enough hard drive, it probably could just be hooked straight up to, like, I don't know. You could probably put it in a dock or something like that. Anyway,
yeah, that's what someone was saying, was to take them apart and throw it into a dock and see what happens.
Yeah.
So it's not really a pressing concern for me now that, I mean, porn is basically free and at your fingertips.
It is definitely mostly free. I don't know who the psychopaths are who are just willingly paying for porn at this point.
Rich people? I don't know. I don't get it.
Even if I was rich, I'm just like, dude, there are even websites where you can stream high definition full videos.
Yep.
And
hey, sometimes it needs to be portable. Sometimes you need to have that collection on your phone when you're on a 10-hour flight and you don't have internet and you got to sneak off into, a little Mile High Club by yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's true.
God, there's probably people that whack off in airplane bathrooms, and I just can't think of a more disturbing place to do it. Other than maybe like a porta potty, but is an airplane really that much, like an airplane bathroom, is that drastically different from a porta potty?
I mean, it doesn't smell as bad.
It definitely does not smell as bad. Although, I mean, depending on when you get in there, after who's been in there before you, it's
true.
Questionable.
I always feel bad for the people who have to sit like all the way in the back, right next to the bathroom.
Oh yeah, and just hearing just.
Yeah, I always feel really bad for those people. They're the real heroes.
I mean,
of the
they
flight,
either chose those seats or they were too lazy to check in on time, so they get what they deserve.
And you get what you get, and you don't throw a fit, pretty much. And then
that's right. You can't throw a fit on an airline. Like, you're not going to win. I never understand people that make a scene in an airport or on an airplane, because you never win that. That is never going to work out in your favor.
No, because you're a risk at that point.
Although, you know what I would like? I would like a follow-up on that dude who got dragged off that United Airways flight 6 years ago, or whatever, and he sued and got a bunch of money. I want to know what he's doing these days.
Oh, the guy who hit his head or something?
Yeah, got dragged off violently, and
yeah, he was like knocked out or something.
I want to know what's going on with his life. Did that money change you for the better? What did you do with that money?
From what I recall, he was like a...
Wasn't he a doctor or something?
He was a doctor, but he was like a... It wasn't like a very not a well-renowned doctor, like a respectable doctor. From what I heard, like things came out after the fact. I could be
kind of a shady character.
I could be wrong. I could be misremembering it, but
well, let's not walk any defamation of character.
Yeah,
lines.
I don't want to.
But
I definitely don't want that. But
if you know that guy, or if you are that guy listening to our podcast, and you would like to come on and give us, your side of the story and where you're at now, assuming you can talk about it, you didn't have to sign any NDAs. Hit us up. Love to have you on.
Yeah, dude, that would be pretty great.
We need to get some guests on. I want to get some more people. How do we follow up with this guy? Let's track this guy down.
Let's find him. Find the unconscious airplane dude. Somebody help us out.
Forever known as unconscious airplane dude.
All right, Johnny, I think this is a good point to wrap it up, bud.
Sounds good.
I'm looking forward to seeing you, bud.
I will be there next week. You're gonna come down?
I am. Up.
Oh, up. That's right. Up for you. Down
Yes.
for me.
Down for you, up for me.
Ooh, baby. It's going to be a little Orion reunion. We should
baby.
crash. Oh, I'm not going to be there on Tuesday. Damn it. We should have gone for a house meeting and wrestled.
What?
Just a couple of old dudes.
Yeah. What day are you coming in town?
So I am flying into Des Moines now. Because the flights, what a fucking disaster booking those flights.
Right.
Were a lot cheaper. So I get in Thursday night. I'll be in Lamoni Thursday night.
19th?
Our dear friend. Yes.
Okay. And then you're there through that whole weekend?
Yeah. I leave Sunday afternoon, evening.
Okay. It might be Friday. I'll have to figure it out.
I get in the 19th. Okay. Our dear friend Ross is going to drive me down to campus.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm staying on Doty's couch.
There you go.
It's going to be fun to catch up with him and sort some shit out and see you and Joey and Nikki and have some good times. Smash Joe and Pong.
There you go.
Gonna just light his old ass up.
Yeah, you're talking about smashing Joe and Pong and smashing me on the mat, and I don't.
That's right.
I'm sort of preparing myself by trying to implement, how like when babies or drunk people fall, they just don't try to catch themselves.
Just accept their fate.
Yeah. So I figure if I just sort of flop around enough,
play dead, I'll lose interest.
Yeah. Well, it's like number one, you're gonna have to deal with dead weight. Number two, I'm not gonna completely wreck myself by trying to provide, like resistance in my muscles and all that stuff. Like I'm just not gonna like hurt myself at all. I am Johnny. I am unbeatable.
How do you lose if you never enter?
That's right. I was willingly dragged.
I'm about to show you how you lose when you don't participate, and it's gonna be.
You're gonna have to kill me.
We're gonna end up naked, just slithering around.
You're gonna end up naked. Well, I guess if I'm just limp, I guess you could just rip the clothes off me. But
that's right.
At that point,
I'll be exploring every inch of your body.
Gross, man. All right, dude.
Fuck.
Let's
We're gonna get coronavirus.
That's how it happens.
To be in the newspaper. Yeah. First ever confirmed case of coronavirus transmitted through sexual activity. One Canadian and one American man.
It's a double whammy, dude. That's how it happens.
It's going to be amazing. We're going to be famous.
Oh, dude. And we're going to document our coronavirus on the podcast.
Oh, man. If we get like a 2-week quarantine, come on, baby. Give me that vacation.
Oh, man. Oh, hell yeah, dude.
I'll have to work from home, but
sometimes I dream of that.
Sometimes, if I got sick around May 29th when Last of Us 2 comes out, there are worse things in this world.
I've been licking doorknobs.
Yeah, you know how they say like don't handshake
Mm-hmm.
because you don't want to spread the virus.
No.
So I just lick the person's hand
Mm-hmm.
and call it a day.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I think there's a documented case in Johnson County. So I'm in Jackson County, Missouri, but Johnson County is in Kansas. So just across the
Boo.
state line. So all I got to do is just find out where that person is and just pay them a visit and make out with them. I don't care if it's a man or a woman.
Slap a fat kiss on them and
Oh yeah,
good to go. Make sure you're
I'm gonna
stocked
whisper.
up on snacks and
Yeah, I'm gonna whisper. Give me that coronavirus.
give it to me. Put it in my belly. Is that
want,
how it works?
I want your virus in me. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say.
Whoa. Oh man, that's what I'm gonna. That's gonna be the new term. I'm gonna give you my virus.
Catch this sickness.
I'm gonna give you so many viruses next week.
Looking forward to it, bud. All right, dudes. If you guys want to send us any emails, that'd be jumbledpodcast@gmail.com or johnny.jumbled@gmail.com. Follow us on all social media at Jumbled Podcast. Head over to iTunes, leave us a 5-star rating and review. That'd be appreciated. Check out our sponsor, Audible. Head over to audibletrial.com/jumbled and get your free audiobook, or don't. But if you don't, then you're missing out. And head over to patreon.com/jumbled. Pay $500. Get us an address. And yeah, if you guys have any suggestions on things we should talk about, whatever, shoot those over to us in any of the contact ways that I just mentioned. Johnny, I love you. I miss you. I will see you soon.
Oh, baby, I can't wait to wrap my arms around you gently.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time for another episode of Jumbled, your favorite podcast.
About all of the life advice you didn't know you needed.
Or really wanted, but you got it.
And it's stuck in your brain now.
Yeah, you're welcome. We'll see you guys.
Bye.
In all seriousness, if you are immunosuppressed, elderly, or an infant, by all means, stay away from the coronavirus and don't travel and all that stuff. But if you are an able-bodied person, which is the majority of us, don't change how you're living your life, and especially don't be yanking all the Charmin off the shelves, because guess what? I don't like wiping my ass with my hand, and I don't have a bidet, so I'm just, my water bill is through the roof right now, and I don't appreciate any of it, guys.